Turn and Trust, a reflection for the third Sunday of Lent. In today's first reading, we find Moses keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, leading the sheep and goats through the arid wilderness to find enough food to sustain them. His wanderings take him to Horeb, the mountain of God, where a peculiar sight grabs his attention. Bushes burn in the desert easily enough, but this one does so without being consumed. In literature assembled from oral tradition, we find mnemonic devices, elements that help tellers and listeners remember the story. Wordplay and pun, alliteration and riddle. This is a riddle. What burns but is not consumed? If we think metaphorically, strong emotions, passion, anger, fear, desire, love, answer the riddle. We would locate these feelings, again, metaphorically, in the heart. Our ancestors in faith would locate them somewhat lower in the body, in the gut. We can relate, knowing that emotional conflict can tie our guts in knots. So in this story, that which burns but is not consumed calls Moses by name, and this mysterious call hits Moses below the belt. Since Moses does not know the identity of his caller, he naturally feels vulnerable. The one who knows his name possesses the greater share of power and presses the advantage with, "Come no nearer, remove the sandals from your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground." Remember, Moses is out in the wilderness. Surely this wasteland cannot be considered holy. That which burns but is not consumed clears the confusion a bit by citing his connection with the Hebrew ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses finds little comfort in this. It appears that the mysterious and scary God of nursery tales has come calling. Moses hides his face in fear as the God of the ancestors announces his plan of action. "I have witnessed the affliction of my people. I have heard their cry. I have come down to rescue them. So come, I will send you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." Resisting the divine invitation, Moses parries with a clever construct. "But when I go to the Israelites and say to them, 'The God of your fathers has sent me to you,' if they ask me, 'What is his name?' what am I to tell them?" This is a trick question. If Moses can get this God of the ancestors to volunteer his name, then the vulnerability that Moses feels before the unnamed one who knows his name will vanish, empowering him to say, "No, thank you." Here the old saying applies: be careful what you wish for. What Moses gets in reply is the sacred and unpronounceable name of God, the mystery of divine presence and activity enshrined in 4 consonants of the Hebrew alphabet, YHWH. The tense is uncertain. It could mean, "I am who I am," or "I am who I was," or "I will be who I was," or "I will be who I will be," which sounds an awful lot like "none of your business." We might puzzle over the connection between this old story and today's gospel reading. I would suggest the word repent as a link between the two. Though most Catholics hear the word and think sorrow for sins, repent actually means turn. To turn one's life around and head in a new direction at God's bidding. Certainly, this broader meaning applies to Moses, whose call from God demands an about-face, a 180, right back to Egypt, from which he has fled in fear for his life. No wonder he protests 5 times over, only agreeing to go when he has run out of excuses and put his trust in God's plan and protection. In today's gospel, Jesus navigates a tricky situation. Confronted with a sensational story of atrocity involving people from his home region being killed at worship by Pilate's minions, Jesus recognizes a trap. Condemning the alleged murderers will get him in trouble with Pilate. Not doing so will turn the crowd against him. Either result will cut short his ministry before he has completed his mission. Instead, he challenges his provocateurs with a question, undermines the prevailing belief in suffering as punishment for sin, and gets right back on message with the need of every person to repent, to turn to God, and put their trust in God's mercy. The short parable that follows reinforces this point, with Jesus taking the part of the gardener who steps in to care for the unfruitful fig tree. He himself embodies the mercy of God, calling all to turn and trust.